Good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm so excited and I just can't hide it because my sister's coming down and we're going shopping. I'm gonna tell you a story, and I'm gonna tell you first the part that really happened, and then since I don't know the end of the story, I'm just gonna make up the rest of it because I felt so that I didn't know the rest of the story, you know? So I've just created my own. Yeah, just create your own story. So I went to walk Penelope last night, as per usual. We went to the church. I drove her over to the church, and then we get out and walk the big old parking lot. Well, part of the parking lot and the grassy area goes up to the road. So we're down kind of halfway middle of the parking lot, and I hear someone screaming. Like, not like screaming, but like yelling, screaming, like hollering something. So I'm trying to figure out, man, that sun. I'm trying to figure out, like, are you yelling for a dog? That's always my first thought, that their dog has gotten loose, or I don't know, and they're walking down the road calling for them, or, you know, because I couldn't tell what they were yelling, but that was just my first thought. Okay, so I'm trying to pull Penny up to the road so we could see better, because Gladys needs to see what's going on, right? What's going on? What's going on? Well, she wouldn't cooperate with me. She wasn't understanding the assignment of going faster so that we could find out the whole situation. Let me tell you first that the speed limit on this road is 45. Nobody does 45. Most people are hitting 55 to 60. This woman is walking down the sideway. This woman is walking down the sidewalk, and she's yelling towards this car. And that's when I noticed that this car is staying with her as she's walking. I mean, how slow did the car have to be going? 5 miles an hour? She was walking kind of fast as she was yelling at this car, and he was driving really slow. Well, I then see all these cars coming, and they're driving quickly up behind him, and they're having to hit their brakes because this man is driving like, whatever, 5 miles an hour on a road that people think is the Autobahn, right? They're blowing their horns and whipping around him, and there was quite a bit of traffic starting to build, so I was afraid that this car was just gonna get smacked from the rear, and he's not speeding up. Well, at this point, Penny has to stop and do her business, of all times, to have to stop and do her business when I'm trying to get up to the sidewalk so that I can see what's going on. Well, by the time she finished and I finally got up there, they were out of sight. So here's where I have created my own story. There's so many scenarios that we could choose. One scenario, please stand by. Okay, sorry, we have to have a brief interlude to tell you what just happened. Penelope has a treat. Do you have a treat, baby? You have a treat. Naomi came running outside, and I told you Penelope likes her and Phoenix now, and she will run up to them. Come on, bring it inside. And let them pet her. So they have bought a box of treats, begging strips, for Penny. So Naomi came running outside in her pajamas with 2 little bitty begging strips. Let's get this off. You You got your begging strip? Do you love it? Anyway, she come running outside with the 2 treats. Penny stood and ate one on the sidewalk. Are you taunting the cat with it? That wasn't very nice. Honey, they didn't give me a treat for you, little skinny butt. Although they probably would, because they have brought toys over for her. Anyway, scenario 1, back to my story, is perhaps, I don't know, he was trying to get her in the car or something. Something scary, right? But that's not the real scenario that I wanted to go with, because I don't like that one. Scenario 2, which is what I'm going to believe it is. They were in an argument. And when he stopped at the traffic light, she got out of the car and started walking. And instead of just letting her walk, he's driving slowly beside her, telling her to get back in the car. And she was yelling back at him, "I'm not getting back in the car." I don't know what really happened, and I really need to know the rest of the story. Now, I will say that about, 10 minutes later, I did hear sirens. So perhaps one of those people that were running up behind them on the road, perhaps they called the police and was like, there's this driver, because it is against the law to not drive, to impede the flow of traffic is what the charge is called. Impeding the flow of traffic. And that's what he or she was doing in the vehicle. And so maybe somebody called the police on them. I don't know. But all I know is I wanted to know the rest of the story, Gladys needs to know the rest of the story. But it did remind me of another story. When I first went to work at the sheriff's office in the year of our Lord, 1984, I worked uptown on the square in Records. We would go up to the square to have lunch at this restaurant called Tommy's all the time. Tommy's, it was just about the only decent sandwich shop on the square at that time. We just got back from a walk. She always wants to go outside when we get back from a walk. They had the absolute best chicken salad sandwiches to die for. Well, anyway, I think it was when I was working with the 2 Carols and myself worked in Microfiche. Do y'all remember Microfiche? Oh, I scanned so many things and put it on these little bitty strips. Do they ever look at them? I don't know. I think they still have the reader, but a lot of my life went to Microfiche. Anyway, as we were walking down the side steps of the courthouse to start walking up the sidewalk to Tommy's, lo and behold, a woman is walking up the sidewalk towards the square, and she was wearing, as God is my witness, she was wearing a pair of panties and a pair of high heel shoes. That's it. Like stilettos. Panties and stilettos. We, of course, are like, oh, I almost tripped. See you next fall. We were, like, what? So, of course, we had to follow her. We didn't stop at Tommy's to get our lunch yet because we had to see where she was going. So we continued to follow her up to the square where Marietta police used to be on the square all the time because they had, they were police officers, but they wrote parking tickets all the time. Anyway, she wants back out. Gets on my nerves. And you just wanted out and you didn't go out, and we just went for a walk and now you want to go out. I don't understand my life here. Anyway, as she got up to the square, the police I can't have a doggy door. Don't even mention a doggy door because I can't have one because there's such a drop from here to there. And besides, Penny is scared to death of everything, so she wouldn't use it anyway. So, yeah, no. Not until I can get a deck built up higher, then maybe I could get a doggy door. But I don't think she would use it because, like I said, she's scared of everything. Well, anyway, the police saw her and walked over to her and was like, why? What? And one of the police officers took off his jacket. Did he have on a jacket? Or did he remove his shirt? Because, you know, they all wear t-shirts under their shirts. And I think he may have even taken off his shirt and gave it to her to put on. And then I think they took her, again, me trying to finish the rest of the story because I really don't know what happened. But I would imagine they took her to Kennestone Hospital to be evaluated for the psych hospital. Yeah, I think that's probably what they did. I doubt they carried her to jail. I'm not sure. They could have, but, you know, for public nudity. Yeah, naked with high heels and panties. That was a lot for my little 19-year-old eyes to see. I didn't know that a mere 4 years later I would go to work in the jail, working intake, and people coming to jail wearing whatever it is that they were wearing when they decided to hide from the police. You ride like you hide. If you hide naked, then you're going to ride naked. Now, the deputies would take them out some inmate clothing to wear to bring them in the back door. They wouldn't humiliate them and make them come in the door naked, but still, you ride like you hide. Always remember that. If you're going to hide from the police, make sure you're wearing the clothes that you want to go to jail in. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Now then, we're already home. We went to the one store out way on the other side of town. I mean, it's like really close to Atlanta on the East Cobb side over there. It doesn't matter, but it's called, I always get it wrong. I always want to call it Cabela's, and that is not the store we went to. Cabela's is more hunting and fishing, outdoor store. This is, hold on. It's called Casabella. Cabela, Casabella. Yeah, that's what it is. You can see my confusion, where my confusion might come from. Anyway, it's home decor, and they have some jewelry, and they have some clothing items, but mostly it's home decor and gifts. And they just have really cool stuff, you know? So we walked through there, and then we stopped at Chick-fil-A because my sister didn't have any tea. She's a tea drinker. And I said, well, let's stop and we can just buy a gallon of tea. Because she brings a big old cup. And it already was full of ice. She was drinking water, heaven forbid. And then we came on back to Dad's and she was ready to go home. Because she had a procedure a few weeks ago. And so she's still trying to work her way back up. And I was like, hey, I get it, you know? So anyway, she's on her way back home. Another story that I thought of, what was it? I talked too much about my sister coming down, and now I can't remember what I was going to tell you. Ride like you hide. All I'm going to say is, if you're going to hide from the police, I mean, do have clothes on because, again, you're going to ride however you hide. But you might want to, you know, maybe have your wife take the child, the children, the dogs out of the home when you're going to hide, because dogs and children will give you away, okay? Because deputies would say that they would be asking you know, the wife, where's your husband? Or asking the husband, where's your wife? It does go both ways. Then you turn and ask the 4-year-old standing there, where's your daddy? And the little boy goes, I don't know. And he stares up at the ceiling. And then they go get in the attic and they find him. Or they would go in and be searching the house for him if they had a warrant, and the dog would be pawing at a closet door. They opened a closet door one day and there was no one in the closet. You know, they pushed the clothes back, nobody's in there. The dog's having a fit. So then they keep going, keep looking, and they realize that there was a door in the closet to his special hiding place. And they like pushed on it and it opened and there he was. People go to a lot of trouble to hide from the police when they're wanted. Gosh, it's windy. We have a cold front coming in. Here I am in a t-shirt, and in the morning it's going to be 29. Our weather this week's like a roller coaster. Roller coaster of love. Hey, do y'all remember back in the day when you played your album backwards and it was supposedly some sort of, I don't know, satanic or demonic something? Was Roller Coaster of Love one of those? I was trying to think of that the other day. I think it was Lester talking about albums going backwards or something, and it reminded me of that. And I think it was, which it would tear up the needle on your record player, but I think you played it backwards and it was supposedly some demonic something. Let's not do that. We don't want to invite anyone in, okay? Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a beautiful Saturday. Remember that I love you. Jesus loves you. I hope he's coming back soon because people be crazy. People walking around naked and yelling and all that kind of stuff. Whew. And I will see you on the next Tracy Tries, which will be tomorrow, good Lord willing, because I post every day, okay? Toodles, my noodles. Goodbye.